My computer broke. Here's what happened.
Also, join the PenguinByte Discord community to be notified of announcements and uploads, ask questions, participate in polls and decisions, and chat with me and the community about Linux, tech, and other topics. Link in the description below.
So here, I was basically resetting Windows on another computer, one that I will end up using. I will get into more detail about that soon. But basically, it already had Windows on it. I was just resetting it to have a clean install of it. And I will install Linux after that, of course. I mean, I did. But basically also just to test some things, play around with Windows a bit since I've never really had a good chance to do so. And yeah, it went pretty horribly. No, I don't want to log into your stupid Microsoft account. Right before we get into it, I actually wrote a full description of what happened and what I did on our Reddit community, r/PenguinByte. So check that out, link in the description. Okay, so I got this new computer. I'll say why very soon. And I reset Windows 11. Don't worry, I'm going to install Linux on this very soon in this video. But first, let's go over why I have this new computer and what's going to happen with some of the videos. So, firstly, what happened is my main computer, it lost charge last night, unexpectedly just stopped charging in the middle of me talking with my friends on a Discord call. So I decided to just turn it off and go to sleep since it was late and just look at the issue tomorrow morning, and that was this morning. And it just wouldn't charge. I tried different outlets, just tried plugging it back in, making sure everything's plugged in well. And it just didn't work at all. So now I just have a computer that I can't really charge, so I can't really turn it on. And it has my SSD in here, which is a bit of a problem considering that has all of my files. But thankfully, since I've been doing a lot of 30-day Linux challenges lately, I do have my backup USB drive, which has... It's a month old regarding the files on here, but it still has most of the important ones. And I have my video files and my CapCut projects files, so I should be good for the most part. For now, we're just going to bring this computer to the repair shop when we can and see if we can fix it. We actually tried opening it up before, and we almost succeeded, but among the maze of screws, there was one stripped screw, and yeah, couldn't really get past that one. So that kind of ended right there, so I'm just going to wait till I can get this repaired. But for now, I'm going to be using this computer. And that also means I'm not really going to be doing any 30-day Linux challenges. I'll just be sticking to one distro or switching whenever I like, not really documenting it. But as soon as I can repair this computer, as soon as I can get it repaired, I will definitely go back to the 30-day challenges. I may continue them here, but I don't think I want to, at least at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's install Linux. Also, quick note, I did not get this new computer brand new. It's a fairly old computer. It's not really that old. It's much newer and faster than the older computer, or well, my main computer, although my main computer has better specs. But this computer was just sitting around with Windows 11 and not really being used except for a particular program, which we found another way to use. So yeah, I'm going to use this one for now. Future Marcel here. This is an Acer Swift SF31452 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, about 160 gigabytes of storage, and an 8th gen Intel Core i5, and integrated graphics. And so it's about half the power, even less than that in some cases, than my older computer, but it's a lot newer and a lot faster as well. So yeah, my older computer, or my main computer I guess, is much more powerful, while this one is much faster and newer. And the distro I'm going with this time is Deepin, so let's download it. I'm downloading the release candidate 2 for Deepin 23, because I like being on the edge, so let's get that. And it's downloading. Here's my USB drive. As you can see, it does have the Fedora logo, because usually I use it for Fedora, but
This time we're doing Deepin, and usually I install Fedora on these new computers, but this time I just want to do Deepin because it's beautiful and I've never really tried it before. And in the meantime, while Deepin is downloading, let's install Balena Etcher. So just click download. This one. And perfect. Now let's let that download. Okay, Balena Etcher and the Deepin ISO both finished downloading, so now let's install Balena Etcher. Okay. There we go. It actually just runs like that. And, okay, I thought it was broken for a second, but apparently it's not. So, let's connect our USB drive. Sorry for the bad camera quality. It's late. Okay, 1 second, sorry. Okay, there we go. After that brief struggle with the USB drive, we shall now flash from file. Let's give it a second. Okay, this is taking a little while for some reason. Let's try that again. Okay. Now let's try this again. Hopefully it works. This one. Okay. For some reason, this doesn't seem to be working. I've never really had any issues with Balena Etcher, so I guess we'll try Rufus instead. Let's do that. Now let's open this. Yeah, sure. Installing apps on Linux is so much simpler than this, I swear. Alright, let's start now. Device. Yeah, I believe that's the one. Disk image. Not sure what this is. I've never actually used Rufus before. Partition scheme, yeah, MBR, I guess. BIOS. Okay, 1 second. I have to figure this out. Oh, stupid me. The select button's right over here. Oops. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. And I guess we're ready, so... Start. Yeah, ISO. Let's do ISO. So I just connected. Okay, yeah, let's download them, I guess. Yeah, all data will be destroyed. That's fine. It's kind of the goal. My goodness, Windows has so many... Okay, so my experience with Windows so far, not even including like Rufus and Balena Etcher and all this, has been pretty bad actually. Like the user interface in general is just, and the workflow is just really unintuitive from what I've played around with it these few minutes. Not really these few minutes, I've played around with it for like an hour or two. And it's pretty unintuitive.
things require a lot of steps, just a bit harder. Not really hard for me since I'm into tech and that kind of stuff, but just a bit difficult. It's not really fun to use. It looks nice, but that's kind of all it's got going for it. I mean, you have a bunch of bloat pre-installed, you have an unintuitive UI, obviously you have the spyware, you have all the other issues. Just overall not a very pleasant experience. And then the whole installation process is really long, like the installer. Of course, you have Microsoft Edge shoved in your face. You have to make a Microsoft account, which is... I tried turning off the Wi-Fi, so... Because apparently there was a local account option for that, like if there was no Wi-Fi, but no. To proceed with the installation, I had to turn the Wi-Fi back on again. Restart the whole installation process because it kept on saying, you know, not connecting, retry over and over and over. So I had to power off the computer, power it back on, restart the installer, computer, not computer, and you know, yeah, then just make a Microsoft account. So that is, it's not great, but it is what it is. What can you do? Overall though, yeah, even from like a new user's perspective, unless you're used to Windows and have used it for a while, I actually wouldn't really recommend this to someone who's never touched a computer before. This is, it's not very easy to use in my opinion, from my experience. Also, it seems this will take a second, so I'm just going to stop the recording here for now. Also, just wanted to include that I've had a lot of bugs with Windows as well. Like, some USB drives I wouldn't recognize at all, just completely ignore them, like as if they didn't exist at all, while other ones are perfectly fine. Bugs like that, it's just overall pretty annoying. Just random issues as well. Also, it took me a while to find basic settings in the settings app. Like, I even had to like look up how to find certain parts of settings, certain settings, because it's just a big maze it's just a big mess overall. Really difficult to navigate. Not really that difficult. Actually, yeah, I guess the right way to say it would be to say that it's pretty difficult and annoying to navigate. Also, just get this shit out of here. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants Copilot. Get this shit out of here. Okay, and Rufus has finished, so now it's time to say goodbye to Windows, which is great, and boot into Deepin, so let's do that. Just close Rufus. And I believe you have to go to Settings. I think it was System Recovery and Advanced Startup. That's what it was. Perfect. USB drive in. And the fun begins. Alright, perfect. Use a device. EFI USB device. And here we go. Try Deepin, okay, yeah. It was too quick for me to choose, but... And beautiful. Let's change that to English. And this is Deepin, so... This is the live environment. I want to install Deepin, so let's just click that. And here we go. Actually, I kind of want to boot into the full screen installer since this is a bit weird, so... Oh my goodness, look at all this bloat. Okay. Yes, as you can see, there's a lot of bloat here on the login screen. That's crazy. But let me enter my PIN real quick. And there we go. Now let's boot back into Advanced Startup. And there we go. So let's just let this run. Okay, Deepin has successfully installed. And right off the bat, the installer is just absolutely beautiful, of course. So let's just reboot now. Seems like something happened in the installation. This is weird. Never mind, Deepin actually succeeded. I just forgot to take out the USB drive. Man, would be great if it told me to do that. Alright, so... I mean, this is a release candidate, so they could still improve. Okay, Deepin is throwing a hizzy fit about my password, and after trying the live environment, Deepin was not as good looking as it was last time. So I'm actually not going to do Deepin. I am going to do some other distro. Hey Deepin, you make no sense. You throw a hizzy fit over a fairly strong password, but you give absolutely no error message for the password. Are you kidding me? Are you actually for real, Deepin? This is crazy. Ain't no way. Okay, here we are about to log into our newly installed Linux distro, which we're going to replace the system again with another Linux distro, so that's great. Yeah, no, okay. Deepin is now a Windows ripoff. It was actually beautiful before, but yeah, no thank you. Yeah, no, I ain't using this. And we're back, this time with Elementary OS. So, of course, as you know, I didn't really like Deepin. It used to look good in the first release candidate, but now it just looks like a Windows ripoff and works a bit weirdly. So, I'd rather use something like Elementary OS, which I've tested before and I really like. Okay, and we're in the Elementary OS installer, so let's select English, United States, and let's just run through the installation real quick. Yeah, I'm not going to encrypt this time. I don't really like encrypting. Oh, that's over here, sorry. And here we go. So as far as I know, Elementary OS is actually a pretty fast installation. So this should be pretty quick. Okay, the installation was really fast, maybe like 10 minutes give or take. But let's restart now. Okay. Elementary OS actually tells us to remove the USB drive, unlike Deepin. So let's just do that. Okay, one second. Okay, there we go. Now let's press enter. Also, sorry for bad focus. It's a bit late, so the camera isn't great, but it should do. And finish setup. Alright, perfect. And here it is. And here's Elementary OS. Absolutely beautiful. So let's run through this welcome tour. And there we go. So now we're officially ready to use Elementary OS, which is, of course, absolutely beautiful. I love Elementary OS. It is genuinely, in my opinion, one of the nicest distros out there. So, yeah, I'm just going to use this, and I guess I will let you guys know how it goes later down the line. Okay, I initially loved Elementary OS. I still do. I really love Elementary OS. It was going so well until I noticed two things. Number one, it's really small. Like, the display is way too small, and I couldn't really fix that in settings, because if I try that, you can see what happens here real quick. Displays. And, yeah, no, that's a tad too big, don't you think? Yeah, no. Well, it does not seem that there's actually a way to fix that, so that is, I could find, so that's rather unfortunate. And number two, I simply can't use Elementary OS because of one very simple thing. that I could not even fix. The keyboard layout. Look what happens when I try to type English in this search bar. What's the 35 doing there? Oh, well, it appears that L and I have 3 and 5 apparently, and so for some reason it automatically types them. I did not have this problem on Deepin. I did not have this problem on Windows. So I'm just going to use Fedora. I'm not going to try any of these other distros. I'm just going to do good old Fedora. Fedora always works. It never has any issues. So Fedora it is. Also, that is not the time, Elementary OS. It's 11:27 right now, 11:28, not 3:28 in the morning. Also, Elementary OS. It should not take 10 minutes to install Impression, a simple libbyte disk writing app. Come on, and Falcon, the lightweight web browser, really? This is like 10 minutes? This is ridiculous. Good old trusty Fedora, here we come. And there it is, perfect. Okay, so obviously we're gonna install Fedora. Also, we have this weird time issue again, but okay, never mind, it actually fixed itself, unlike Elementary OS. Now we're just going to let this run, and I'll come back when it's ready. And the Fedora installation finished. Beautiful. And that was also fairly fast, seemed to be a little over 10 minutes, so that's perfect. So let's finish installation. Now the unfortunate thing is you do have to manually reboot your system, but that's not a big deal at all. Let's just do that real quick. Well, we can unplug this now. The USB drive would just come out without me having to use... Okay, perfect. There we go. Finally. Well, the USB sockets over here are strong, so that's good. Okay, and there we go. Start using Fedora Linux. Beautiful. So let's just run through this quickly. Yep, this is GNOME. I've used GNOME for years, I know how it works. And let's test the keyboard. Alright, I don't know, let's go to Firefox. Alright. Does this work without any issues? Of course it does. Trusty old Fedora, working perfectly without typing 35 instead of L and I. Just going to use Fedora for now then. Oh no. Bruh. Why? Okay, wait a second. Don't tell me this whole time it was numlock. Was it really numlock? Wait, one second. Okay. It was numlock. Damn it, it was numlock. Okay, so I love Fedora, and I will definitely come back to Fedora without a doubt. But, since the keyboard issue was an issue with numlock, which, well, I turned off, I will be returning to Elementary OS, because I really want to use Elementary OS for a little bit. So, let's download Elementary OS. I will get back to this when it's finished. So if you like libbyte apps and are looking for a image writer on Linux, don't use Fedora Media Writer, don't use Balena Etcher, don't use any of that. Use Impression. Impression is very simple, very beautiful. It's an amazing app. I truly recommend it. It always works. I've never had any issues with it, and it's so simple to use. Here's how easy it is to use Impression. Firstly, open Impression. Then just plug in your USB drive. And it automatically detects it. And now, just open file, or you can choose one of these and it'll download them for you. We're just gonna open file, choose Elementary OS, write, erase, put in our password, and there we go. Now it's writing. This is actually also, writing is pretty fast with Impression usually, so that's also neat. And it finished. That took under 4 minutes, which is
even that is actually slow for impression. Impression's usually faster than that. But yeah, that was, in general, pretty fast. So now you just click finish, and you're done. Okay, and this is my elementary OS install. I customized it a bit, added some apps. I, of course, added my files as well. And it's been going really well. I've been using it for about a day now. But, I think I've caught the distro hopping fever, and now I want to try Clear Linux. A Linux distro by Intel that is optimized for Intel. It's independent, rolling release, and apparently one of the fastest distros out there. And since I have an Intel laptop, why not? Also uses GNOME, which is a plus for me. Downloading the ISO right over here. Clear Linux desktop. And I'll get back to you guys when this is finished. And let's reboot into Clear Linux. So the flashing only took like under 7 minutes, like a bit over 6 minutes, and that's pretty fast, honestly. And we're in. So the way I do this, of course, for every distro that I try, is I go to the boot tab, and let me try replugging in my USB because it's not detecting it. Okay, so for some reason my USB drive wasn't showing in the beginning, but I reflashed it. So basically, even like several times after trying to get into UEFI and replug the USB drive, it just wouldn't show in the boot manager. So after reflashing it though, it works completely fine. So now I'm going to boot in. Clear Linux OS. Alright, and we're in. We are in Clear Linux OS. So, first thing we're going to do, of course, is launch the installer, which I believe is this one. And I'm just going to run through this real quick. No, I don't want reduced animation. Okay, Clear Linux failed installation-wise at some installing required packs or downloading required packs section. And obviously there's no operating system left on my computer, so I booted into Tails, upgraded it to 6.4, and now I'm going to install Flatpak and Impression on here and write to the USB again, Clear Linux ISO, and hopefully it actually works this time. It doesn't have weird quirks like the colors being inverted. So, yeah. Okay, this is the 4th time I've attempted to install Clear Linux. The first 2 times I did the normal latest ISO, but apparently if those don't work, you can try the 41818 or something like that, or 41840, I don't remember. And yeah, that didn't work either. I tried using an alternate what was it, like URL, and that did nothing either. This has been going for like, oh, never mind, it's working. And Clear Linux installed successfully. Would you look at that? Right as I turned the camera on before. That is hilarious. Well, let's click exit. I guess we should now restart. Okay, it actually works. Here's Clear Linux. Okay, so Clear Linux isn't bad. It's really, really fast, so it's pretty good. It's okay, but it's a bit boring. Like, I mean, I installed Burn My Shell and some stuff. It's pretty nice, but it's not really that exciting, so it has a nice NeoFetch and a nice logo, but other than that, there's not really too much excitement here. So I'm just going to use I'm gonna try Kali Linux actually. I want to see how Kali Linux goes. And yes, I know I spent like
like 2 hours trying to get this distro installed, but it's not really that exciting. So yeah, time for Kali Linux. One thing I gotta say though is I really do like the package manager swapd. I think it's a pretty good package manager. I really I like how fast it is, and it's just pretty simple to use as well. Also, Clear Linux is genuinely so fast, it's actually crazy. Like, things launch instantaneously. The whole system is just, it's just really fast and instantaneous. It's pretty neat. Let's do the installer ISO, because why not? Oh. Okay then, let's do the net installer ISO. Alright, that works. And here we are in the installer. So I will just set up Kali and get back to you when I finish. Okay, the Kali Linux installer has been stuck at 2,557 packages, or the 2,557th package of 2,569. So close. It's been stuck at this for like 10 minutes on the select and install software portion. So, I guess we'll just have to see what happens here. If it takes too long, I'll just have to restart with the full image instead of the net install. Okay, we're back, but this time with the full ISO. So technically, it should work because it has everything it needs to install offline. Because last time was net install, and I'm supposing there was some network error, so this time it should work. And we're in, so once again, I'm going to run through the installer real quick and get back when it's finished. Okay, it's working now, which is great. And installation completed successfully, so now it's time to reboot into Kali. Here it is. This is Kali, which is really nice in my opinion. I like it. So I'm going to be playing around with it a little bit and tweaking some things, adding my files, etc. Of course, we gotta use light theme. Dang, there we go. That's even nicer. Okay, I've been using Kali for a few days now, and it's definitely one of my favorite Linux distros that I've used, and I plan to use it for much longer, of course. I really like it. And I also want to play around with the built-in tools, right? And overall, also, XFCE has been really nice. Kali customizes XFCE to be beautiful. Even dark mode, which I don't really like, looks pretty good here, but especially the light mode looks fantastic in my opinion. But there is one issue, is I just can't get used to the traditional workflow, so, you know, I will probably be moving to GNOME on Kali, which is customized to also look very nice. But cool features with XFCE are, for example, undercover mode. So, like, if you want people to think you're using Windows, even though you're using Kali, just enter undercover mode, and yeah, you're in Windows, even though it's actually Kali. So, and on the surface, it looks completely like Windows 10. There are certain weird things like the battery icon and probably some others, but other than that, it looks pretty similar on first glance. And then, of course, you can just exit it by, again, searching undercover mode. And there it is. It's back. Anyways, so the point is, Kali has been going really well, and I will continue to use it, but I'll probably switch to the GNOME version. And other than that, yeah. That's about it for now. Also, I forgot to mention this, but while it's like fixed now, the day before yesterday and last night, there was some issues with the repos on Kali Linux. So basically it was, I don't quite remember, there was some error, it failed to fetch like the repos or something. It was mid-sync, but it's like, I don't know, it happened twice already. It's weird. You just can't use the repos, you can't install anything. Usually it works fine, but the first time I used Kali, it didn't work, except for like when I installed NeoFetch. Right after that, it started syncing or whatever, and took like till the next day. And then that happened again like a day later, so I hope that gets fixed. I hope it doesn't happen again, but just saying. Subscribe if you like my content, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.